Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Classic Plus show. It has been a several decade long hiatus since you've last seen me, but I am here with my legendary co host, Aronomia, an absolute legend. How have you been, brother?
Oh, I've been good. I've been good. I've been venturing out into some games while we wait for the Classic Plus. So I've been kind of testing what's out there.
That's what
How are
everybody's
you?
been doing, playing everything else but World of Warcraft while they wait for Classic Plus. And as you guys all know, I am Ebonheart, and we are here to discuss quite a lot of topics. And this list right here is a juicy one. From leaks to the community hype and the overall dread, private servers and how that's going to impact Classic Plus, is just overall the excitement about the future with BlizzCon being less than 40 days away. So we're going to dive into the very first topic right off the rip, and that is that BlizzCon is quite literally under 40 days away. And how does that actually make you feel, Aaron?
I honestly didn't even realize it was that close. I feel like I've just been like I at the beginning of the year I was hyped up about it, and then I'm like, okay, it's not happening for a while, and then I put it like on the back burner in my mind. But now it's creeping up on us, and I'm like, holy shit, 40 days. I'm stoked. I haven't been stoked like this for BlizzCon in a long time. How about you?
I'm I'm so ferociously excited. Like if you've seen my streams at all, I have that big blue banner with the countdown to BlizzCon the entire time right above my head. And honestly, for me, this is kind of like a make or break it moment. I've been hyping Classic Plus up for so long that I know it's certain, right? And people are going to ask, how do you know it's certain? And I can't share that. But I know it's getting announced in 40 days. The release that I don't know about, and we'll talk about that more later, but because I know it's coming, I'm like literally shivering. My bones are shaking in excitement about Classic Plus. Now, whether it's a good game or not is a whole different topic, right? Nobody can predict that. I think it's going to be great, but according to the community, I'm the biggest shill known to mankind. So I'm just so excited to finally play a game mode that is permanent. A game mode where I don't have to worry about my character going to a place I don't want it to go. That was one of my biggest gripes with vanilla in 2019. Not vanilla, in Classic 2019, was that I knew my character was going to go to an expansion or to an era realm that I just didn't care about. And I still played all the way through, but it just wasn't for me. So I'm incredibly excited.
Yeah, I feel this. I feel like I've said it a couple times. Like this is like your Super Bowl. This is the main event. Like everything's been amounting to this one, and it's nice because it's like a physical destination that you're going to. So it's like Eben's making it to his El Dorado finally. The
And yeah,
the BlizzCon of gold.
I'm going to be at BlizzCon as well. Like I'm literally going to be there, and it's going to be exciting as shit. A lot of creators are going to be there. I'm going to see a lot of viewers. I'm just going to see a whole bunch of people in general, who's everyone's coming there. This is kind of like the like the final event before either BlizzCon goes to the wayside or comes back strong type of situation. For a lot of at least I feel like WoW Classic fans, I feel like this BlizzCon is that final moment for me in particular as well, because I'm a huge fan of Classic WoW, and retail's fun. It's just it's not a game for me. No matter how much fun I have in retail, and I do enjoy it every now and then, I'll play one season in expansion, max out, do plus 15s or whatever, and then just drop the expansion, not pick up WoW again until the next expansion. So it's like this is my Super Bowl, like you said. Like if Classic
Mhm.
Plus is here, and
Yeah,
I'm so incredibly excited. But like you see the community's overall expectations and the dread, just how the community itself in general is so vicious in and of itself in about the expectations. A lot of people just say, don't expect anything, you're going to be disappointed. There's already a better version with a private server versus the crowd going, no, trust Blizzard, believe. Where do you fall?
honestly, and I've always been like, I would much rather play like an official version of the thing,
Mm-hmm.
just based off of like you said before, like character security and like knowing something's not going to go anywhere. Um, I don't know. I feel like I've got a pretty like moderate opinion of like I think Blizzard's obviously like made mistakes in like things and choices that they've done. Um, but at the same time, I've also thought what they put out is like a quality product at the end of the day. Like it is Blizzard. Um, Regardless if it's a different team working on the game, they still have created a lot of fun experiences. I think they do listen to the community in terms of like what they implement and what they're working on. And I think when it comes to the community and people and their expectations, they've created so many versions of the game for so many different kinds of people that all of those different opinions influencing a single product makes it hard, right? And I think game development is very hard. And I think making a product that a lot of people are going to like and will also be profitable in some capacity is hard. So you have this kind of like storm of things coming into play, right? Where you have expectations versus what you can deliver. And, you know, you want to make everyone happy, but you can't make everybody happy. So I think it'll be good in some capacity. I don't think it'll be bad. I I mean, I'm cautiously optimistic, maybe, but
Okay,
I'm
so
not just like I'm not Blizzard shill, and I'm not like a Blizzard can't do anything right guy. I'm like,
my follow up question there is,
mm,
based on the community perception you see online, right? Because you know the
mm,
people that do the most of the yapping, most of the talking, they're the minority. Based on what
mm.
most developers and most online communities have said, it's like less than 10% of the online talk is the less than 10% of the overall player base partakes in online conversation. Do you believe that the negative side or the positive side is more representative of the people currently playing TBC or Mr. Pandaria hardcore?
Oh, I'd say like probably the positive side, just because I feel like a lot of the negative side are people who wouldn't ever play a Blizzard product to begin with. They're like people who played the game back in the day, really enjoyed it, and now they hate Blizzard like with a burning passion. And they wouldn't play anyways. So they're anytime Blizzard puts something out, it's like, oh, this is terrible. It's gonna be terrible. I'd much rather play my private server, and that's fine. Like they can play that version of the game and they can be happy with it. But I think like the positive people are obviously like the most likely to enjoy something like that. And I find I talk to people all the time where it's like, you know, I talked to this random guy at work the other day. Perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I was wearing my EverQuest hat. He's like, oh, EverQuest. I'm like, yeah, yeah, but I mainly play Classic WoW. He's like, I play Classic WoW too. And I was like, oh, no way. Do you know, like, we were talking about Classic Plus and stuff. He's like, oh, yeah, like, I hope it comes out, but I haven't been following anything. I don't really have time to go on and watch videos and this and that. So you have like kind of like a silent minority that is ready to play it. They're excited about it. And they don't kind of participate in this online discourse about is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? They're just people who like World of Warcraft and they're going to go, oh, new World of Warcraft thing in the classic universe. I'm going to play this. And they don't have these like ridiculous kind of expectations because it's like, you know, it's not like this guy's like, oh, I played Turtle WoW, I played Ascension, I played X, Y, and Z, and now I'm comparing what's coming out to that. It's like, no, I just see Classic Plus. Cool, I'm going to play that, right? What do you
And
think?
that's honestly like a thing that I've thought about quite a bit is a lot of people that partake or consume content do so in waves, right? So for example, somebody like Willie who makes content that the vast majority of people who don't play WoW anymore watch. Or
Mm,
you make those evergreen videos that hits a feed and stays there for a while. Versus people who make, you know, daily videos or weekly news updates or covering the blue posts or like even the nitty gritty streamer drama or that type of content. A vast majority of the player base isn't locked in on that. They don't actually know what's happening. They mostly get their news from the big trailer on YouTube or the BlizzCon or the big update. So I think a lot of the overall negativity is from, I just guess, people that are chronically online, as well as the extreme positivity. I do
oh yeah,
think, like you said, that the vast majority are just overall. I'm gonna play it when it comes out. That sounds pretty
yeah,
cool. A new classic where they make new stuff. Yeah, I'll level a character to 60. I might not raid, but you know I'll level. And I think that's probably the vast majority. I could be wrong. I don't want to sit here and like factually state that's everybody, but I truly do believe that the people that partake in my video comment section or in my stream, and like I'm not a big streamer by any metric, right? 150, 200 viewers. Like I'm a small streamer by all standards. Same thing on YouTube. Um, but I think the people that are in our comment section, our videos, our streams, are people that are just chronically online. So while the opinion is either overtly positive or negative, I think it doesn't represent the majority whatsoever.
No, it's kind of like I think our level or people we interact with, it's like the deepest in the weeds you can get, right? Not only do you like the game, you play the game, but when you're not playing the game, you consume content about the game and you engage in discourse about the game. So it's like, I think a lot of people get like trapped up in this kind of group of people thinking like this is everyone who plays this game. So, these people who are angry, this is the percentage of people who don't like the game. And this is it's like, no, that's like a fraction of a minority of like a small group of people. It's like the actual player base is not representative of this discourse at all. Like, it's like someone who quit WoW, right? I think, and we've talked about this before, is like the untapped group of people who quit WoW and will come back to play something like this. It's not like they quit WoW and they're consuming World of Warcraft content. They're doing other things, right? So they're going to see something like this and they're gonna get excited about it. And I think the big thing at that point is retention, right? And we're talking about how many of those people stay, how many, and I don't know, people are busy. I don't think people really care too much about the minute little things that are not good about the game, or oh, this isn't classic. They have this feature. This is not my classic,
Transmog,
So,
I'm done. I'm never playing this game
yeah,
again. No,
literally unplayable.
but
Yeah.
I do think the vast majority are just going to be like, oh, this plays like a slightly faster classic, and there's new zones and race class options. That's good
Mm,
enough for me. Because I think
yeah.
the average WoW consumer is 35. I'm not going to say my audience age is representative, but most creators I've talked to, the average age of their viewers or their YouTube viewers or their stream viewers is between 33 to 38. Depends on the creator. So the vast majority are in their mid to late 30s. And I think if those people are the chronically online late 30s, the vast majority of the game, of the player base, are people in that age bracket who are not online whatsoever, who are going to log on, play the game, and maybe they'll consume a couple of videos at launch when, oh, what's all the new stuff? Let me go, oh, this Ebonheart guy, I remember watching him back in SOD. This is an hour-long video about all the new races and classes and zones. Let me click on that. And I think they'll watch 1, 2, 3 videos at most before they get chronically offline once again and they just play the game. And I think that's like a healthier way to view the community than this chronically online, very toxic, very angry, hateful player base. Because I just don't think that's true. Because if it is, it's very sad. A lot of us need to
Yeah.
touch grass way more often.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, yeah. I mean, if you look at like numbers wise, right? I think of like retail WoW. Like, if you were to go online and think, oh, what do people think? Oh, it's the worst. They ruined World of Warcraft. It's terrible. Can't play it anymore. And then you have the numbers come out, and it's like they made a mount that has outsold entire games, right? So clearly, there's something there where it's like, oh, it's the worst game ever. No one wants to play it. Yet they're making money hand over fist because all these people are playing the game and buying their products, right? Like, so I think the big thing for a lot of people is like, this product isn't for you, and that's fine. But this product is definitely for people. And it's clear because people are playing it and they're making lots of money and continuing to develop it, and putting on things like BlizzCon. It's like they don't do this because they make shitty games no one wants to play. They're doing this because they make games that tons of people play. And it might not be for you, but it is for all these other people, right? And I think that's a big thing to consider. I don't know. I think like there's a certain rationality that kind of goes out the window when people get really passionate about a specific thing, right?
And I
And
think that's
classic
the
in the World of
sad truth
Warcraft.
about any real game that has a community as old and dedicated as World of Warcraft's. Like I've been
Oh, for
playing
sure.
since, because I'm 29. I've been playing since
Hmm.
it was 2007, late 2000, no, late 2007 or early 2008 with TBC is when I was playing. It was right around Black Temple's launch that I finally got to play WoW, and I've been playing since then. And that's when the vast majority of people have played, because most people started WoW after vanilla, not during vanilla. It was TBC onwards, and so there's been over 150 million World of Warcraft accounts. if even a fraction of that returns, 1% of that is 1.5 million players. 5% of that is, what is that? Like 7.5 million
Seven and a
players.
half, yeah. That's
10% is 15 million players. Like something as small as 5% is 7.5 million returning players for Classic Plus. Now, will they hit a 5% return ratio of the 150 million? How many accounts are bots or second accounts? Yada, yada, yada. Like, that's a whole different conversation in and of itself. But this is the biggest BlizzCon to ever BlizzCon, specifically because we're not just getting Classic Plus. We already know there's been several leaks by very reliable leakers like Jez Corden. The StarCraft, FPS, RPG, the Helldivers slash Space Marine 2 type game. We've heard about the Warcraft anime, the Warcraft RTS, the Warcraft RPG. We know Diablo 4's new expansion. And I think that's about it. And probably Overwatch getting a few new champions. But this BlizzCon is absolutely huge. But what do you think about everything else coming to BlizzCon before we dive into more Classic Plus in a little bit?
sure. Yeah, I think it's interesting because like the direction that Xbox and Microsoft is going in is like games. We want more games, which has been like kind of a fumble for years, right? They have a new CEO. They're kind of taking things in a different direction. Whether people like them or not, that's a different question. But I think we already saw it with like the Bethesda announcement, where it's like, yes, we're going to remaster Fallout 3. You get a new Vegas, and I think a new Fallout game,
Yeah,
and an update on Elder Scrolls. And so, I think for the longest time, it's like Activision Blizzard. They've had so many good IPs, and it's kind of like, why are we not doing anything with this? And so I think that's another reason why this BlizzCon is important. Is like they have new leadership, and I think they realize the power in the IPs that Blizzard has. And historically, Blizzard is a very profitable company, and they make good games that people like, right? Overall, and so I think you kind of have a bit of things happening. You have new leadership in the overall structure of the company, and then you have kind of a new mentality in the community and at the actual company itself, Blizzard. So, and that's why I agree. I think this BlizzCon is going to be really good and really big, not just because of Classic. Like, I think that's why we're excited, but like overall, I think they probably have a lot more, funding and leeway to be more creative and do these different, offshoots of their IPs, like you said, StarCraft, Diablo. And so that's kind of why I'm excited, just to kind of see not like the resurgence of Blizzard, but just kind of like a breath of fresh air and not just repeating the same things over and over again, right? Because I love World of Warcraft. Like Warcraft as an IP, love the movie. No, there's a lot of opinions about the movie, but is a video game movie. It's a good time. It's a good time, right? So yeah, I think they can do so much with what they have, and I like to think they're finally kind of getting that freedom to do it.
I do believe so as well. And I will say, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not a big fan of layoffs. And I think layoffs are a terrible thing for a lot of people. But Xbox under Phil Spencer had almost, not a full decade, of unlimited paychecks to make whatever game you want. And I can't name 3 hits with that unlimited check from Xbox under Phil Spencer.
No. It was, and just bad decision making too, right? Like you release a show on Amazon, a Fallout show, it's massively successful, and you don't follow that up with a video game release at the end. Like you don't plan that. You have all this time. You have years that you're producing this show, and it's going to be a hit, and people are going to love it, and they did. And you don't have a thing at the end of the tunnel to spend money on. Like, what a generational fumble.
Based on all the reports that came out, based Usher Sharma forcing his hand, was that Obsidian did pitch it. Josh Sawyer and a lot of these like old legends of Obsidian and like these old RPG like legends, they all literally like they tried to pitch a Fallout game once Bethesda got acquired, and they were told flat out no. Todd Howard wants control. He's gonna make it on his own timeline, and that was fine. Until Usher Sharma stepped in, and now suddenly that they were effectively making this was like a report done by like reliable leakers on Xbox. So I'm just paraphrasing. I might be paraphrasing slightly wrong, because it was a big report that came out, and I read it. But like I'm Classic Plus guy, not a Xbox guy overall. And it was just effectively that they were making effectively a Fallout clone, a very similar type game. So after Usher Sharma's directive went through, that game they were working on, that post-apocalyptic style game, just became Fallout. Like they just shifted all the storyline and they tweaked some of the assets. So I'm not sure how deep in development they were, but it just became a Fallout game. So it might have already been a year in development. It might have been 2 years in development, but it's now effectively a Fallout game. And Inxile is now also working on another big IP, and it's a top-down CRPG, and we might be getting like a Fallout 1 or 2 remaster. Or we might be getting like a Warcraft type CRPG or a Diablo CRPG. Like the IPs are unlimited now that Asher Sharma has effectively made the whole memo of Xbox. No new unique IPs. Everyone is working on big IPs only. So your options as a developer under Xbox, to those that haven't been fired, is Warcraft, Starcraft, Diablo, Wolfenstein, Halo, Fallout, Elder Scrolls, Forza,
Doom. I got Doom in there too, maybe.
Doom, Overwatch. Am I missing
It's a
anything?
lot of
That's 10 IPs.
a lot of. Yeah, I mean, that sounds
Fable,
pretty.
Fable,
Gears of War.
and Gears of War. So
Yeah,
that's
kind of.
12 IPs. And
Yeah,
effectively every studio is now tasked with making games in those IPs. So we know for a fact Obsidian's working on a Fallout game, and Inxile's working on a new CRPG. Well, they never said new CRPG, but Inxile only makes CRPGs. Like they made the Wasteland series. So I don't want to say it's another CRPG, but like
I mean,
I
you
mean,
can read between the lines.
yeah. So
Yeah, yeah.
I just think this is good. Like for all the people that got laid off, terrible, absolutely terrible. But like for us from the consumer perspective, or people that have been starved for our favorite IPs, I think this is amazing news. Like
Oh, for sure.
that's where I stand
Yeah,
at least.
yeah. I mean, you don't want anyone to lose their job, obviously. Like that's as from a human element, you're like,
Absolutely.
yes, that's sad. I can sympathize for someone. Um, but yeah, as someone who's like not following the news or doesn't see that, it's like, oh, sick. I'm getting a new Fallout game. Right on. I'm all about this. I'm gonna buy that. Yeah.
But
So.
now that we've talked about all those games and like the sadness about why we're getting these good games, what are you like not counting Classic Plus? What are you most excited for from BlizzCon?
Oh, geez. Um, this might sound so lame, just because, and you know me,
Yeah.
I'm like such a classic Andy. Like, I'm excited at the idea of like a classic fresh server, just like one, it's normal classic fresh. If they give some timeline on, I know, dude, I know. People are gonna think I'm crazy for this. I am very excited to find out what the future of like the trilogy is, right? Like in my dream world, we have Classic Plus, and then we have Vanilla, TBC, Wrath of the Lich King, rotating. They each have their own era server. At the end of that expansion, you get to transfer off to the era server of it, and it just keeps going. Because, and hear me out, I love Classic. Best game, love it. So if Classic Plus is bad for whatever reason, or if any project is not good, I can always have the comfort and reliability knowing that I have a fresh start server coming up. So hearing the future of what they're going to do just kind of with Classic as a whole, I'm really excited about. I know that's not exciting for a lot of people, and I get that. But
Well,
that's
I
just me
understand where you're
personally.
coming from. It's just it's been so recent, and we've had so many different
Yeah.
iterations of Classic since 2019. We had Classic 2019, Psalm in 2021, SOD at the end of 2023. Then we had Anniversary at the end of 2024. And if Classic Plus drops this year, like I think it will, that'll be 5 versions of Classic WoW in 7 years. So having another
Yeah.
anniversary after Wrath again, so 6 in 8 years or 9 years, is just diabolical
Yeah.
to me. But I do understand what you're saying. But for me, if assuming Classic Plus is bad for whatever reason, it's a terrible game.
Yeah.
I think I'll take a break from Classic Anniversary for at least 5 or 6 years. I
Fair.
I think I would need at least that much of a break to truly enjoy and bring myself to love the game again. Because I feel
Yeah.
like the community has destroyed what it means for vanilla to be vanilla, for classic to be classic. And I think a 5 or 6 year break would at least let me come back disconnected from the online discourse, disconnected from the online communities, and play the game in a way that's true to its spirit. Because,
Hmm.
I mean, Classic Plus is bad. I do this as a hobby. So I probably just stop. I stop making
Yeah, yeah,
content. And then, I just go back. I work a full time job. I have a life. I go outside all the time. You can see the
for
tan
sure.
and how much weight I've lost, guys. But
Man goes
it's
to the beach.
yeah, I did a lot. I'm so tan now. I used to be very pale. Oh, you can see that. Look at the skin color. Look at the color difference.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then you look at me. Just,
Yeah, yeah.
oh, you're
So
talking to Casper over
I
here.
probably would just stop talking, making videos if Classic Plus is bad. At least until the Riot MMO. But I
Yeah,
believe it's
yeah.
gonna be good. But I
You
would
got
come
some
back as
things.
just a player, and I think I would enjoy vanilla in 5, 6 years. From the
Yeah.
perspective of just like disconnected, no videos, no YouTube, just fresh. Oh, it's 2032. You know what? I
Mhm.
could go for a fresh and just log on and
Yeah, yeah.
play like type situation.
It's funny as I was answering that question, I was like, I saw your face immediately. I'm like, this isn't a good answer, but I'm committing to it.
It wasn't that it was a bad answer, it was just surprising because you're a very
Yeah,
big proponent of Classic Plus, of changes, of
I am.
things that are coming to the future of the game. And to hear you say, yeah, I'll just play regular old vanilla, I'll play Era, I'll just launch a new
Yeah.
character on an anniversary server and have a good time. And I don't think I could possibly enjoy Era right now.
Mhm. That's fair. That's fair.
Like two,
It's
three,
you,
4 years into C plus, I could absolutely see myself loving a no changes old school version of the game. But I think
yeah.
right now because we've played so much, like we literally just did anniversary.
Hmm.
Literally,
Now,
we were an anniversary. Not even what was it?
yeah.
8 months ago, we were in
Oh yeah.
that.
Oh yeah.
So like,
Now
go ahead. Sorry.
here's a question on what you said because I'm now I'm thinking. So for the longest time we wanted classic, no
Right.
changes. We don't want anything. We just want the way it was. And then enough of that, and it was like, okay, now we want all the changes. Where's Classic Plus? You need to evolve on this idea. Do you think we're eventually going to come full circle where it's like we have all the changes, we got everything we wanted, and then 4 or 5 years down the road, we want no changes. We want to, because that just seems like how things go. you
That's
know?
a very, very interesting question. And I think, genuinely speaking, my answer to that is going to be
Mhm.
I think we'll do a semicircle, not a full circle, but I think it'll go because we were here. I was like, no changes. Shit, give me all the changes. I don't think we'll
Yeah.
get back here. I think we'll be here and be like,
Okay.
I could kind of go back to about here. This was kind of
Maybe
like a
dial it
good
back.
line here. Some quality of
yeah.
life, UI changes, server infrastructure. But
Mhm.
I don't think a lot of people would go back to wanting no changes because I think what I realized about what made me love vanilla was the world, the atmosphere, the characters, and the storytelling. And a lot of people
Mhm.
say, but there is no storytelling in vanilla. The world is the story that is being told. It's not an overarching expansion where Illidan is the main villain or Arthas and the Lich King. The whole storyline of vanilla is the story of vanilla, is the purpose of vanilla, is seeing the world and all these small, only vaguely interconnected things. The storyline of Dire Maul versus the Dark not the Dark Brotherhood, of the Defias Brotherhood, and the Nixia storyline and how that connects. And then you have Blackrock Mountain, and you have the Black Dragon flights, and then of course you have the Uldaman quest line. You go to Uldum, and well, nothing happens there, of course, because the quest line ends with the discs of Norganon. And then of course you have the Hyjal teasers. You have all these little storylines that all semi interconnect. That makes the world feel alive. It's kind of like how if you live in the US and you have
Mhm.
little things that connect your state to the states around you, but they're all their own separate stories.
Absolutely.
Or how
I
Asia is Asia, everybody's Asian, but there's a big difference between China and India, or Iran
mhm.
versus Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point I'm making is vanilla feels like that, where every zone has a story and it feels alive, it feels like purposeful. And I gotta be real. This might make me not be a real classic player. A lot of people might call me a fraud for this. I don't think Classic is a good game fundamentally
Oh,
for modern times. Now I need to clarify this.
I agree.
I
Yeah, yeah.
think Vanilla was an amazing game for its time, and I think the first year of 2019 Classic was the best gaming experience I've had in my entire life. From
Mhm.
August 2019 to about August 2020, I don't think I've had a better gaming experience in my life. I think that 1 year was the ultimate experience I've had in gaming because of how people played 2019. I think the corruption of vanilla and classics playstyle has ruined the experience for me. And I know people are
Mhm.
gonna say just don't play like that. You
Yeah.
can't just not play like that. It's you
No.
can't put the genie back in the bottle.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
think yeah, that
yeah,
yeah, I think there's a few things to take from that, right? Like, and this might also be a hot take, but I don't think MMOs in general should have like a big storyline where you are the main character. And I think that's where retail's at, where it's like, we need to save Azeroth, and we need you. We need you specifically to save Azeroth. Because if you need, it kind of like takes away from the fact that it's this massive online world. And that's, I feel like, kind of like the idea of an MMO. It's like you're kind of turning into a single player game where it's got this the story that you're participating in, and you're kind of the main character, but everyone else is kind of the main character. And so it's like you have, a million of the same story happening at once, just with a different main character versus what I believe the original intention was. It was this fantasy world that everyone participates in. And yes, there are storylines like, you know, the Defias Brotherhood or these different factions and clans within the world, but they are their own thing and they aren't kind of like the main thing. It's what gives the world life, right? Kind of in the same way, in the real world, right? You have different countries, and that's what gives the world personality and life. Is you have all these different people who believe all these different things and live their lives differently, right? And I think that's what makes an MMO, in my opinion, so enticing. Is like it's like this alternate reality where you have a lot of these aspects of a world that you can participate in, but it's not like, oh, I'm the main character. It's up to me to save the day. Um, I think that's really important. And then as far as like classic not being a good game, I think it's a perfect example of like the game hasn't changed, we've changed, right? We've changed as a player base. And I think you see that with a lot of games. It's like day one comes out. This is the best way to level. This is the best gear you need at these levels. This is the optimal way of doing things, right? Like you've kind of, and I don't blame it. You have a game that's out for, 20 plus years. You're going to optimize the fun out of it because you want to find the best way of doing everything. And that's totally cool. And I agree. Like you could put together a niche guild where it's like, we're going to use gear that isn't optimal. We're going to play the game in a how the game's meant to be played. But as a whole, you're going to have a hard time playing it like that unless you curate a specific group of people who also want to play like that. You're not just going to reach out to someone in trade chat and join a pug, and it's going to be like, oh, I'm going to play suboptimally. Like, no. There's a video. It's like, uh, being bad at World of Warcraft makes you an asshole or something like that. Have you seen that video where it's like it's rude to be bad at World of Warcraft, I think, or something like that? And I agree. It's like you have to think like you are playing with these other people. They only have a finite amount of time. You can't expect 39 other people to run on your schedule, right? So you kind of have to fall under this bucket of people where it's like this is how people play the game or expect people to play the game, right? Um, so it's there's a few different things kind
because
of
it is,
that work into
and
it.
that's the reason. Like you playing suboptimally to have fun, you
Mhm.
are griefing other people, right? And I'll use hardcore as an example here. I've watched a lot of hardcore content. From the viewer perspective, bad players are the best content.
Yeah.
But from the people actually doing the raids, bad players ruin the experience. The amount of
Mhm.
good players I've seen lose their characters in hours upon hours of work because some player just didn't care to learn anything because they're a tourist of the game or just here to have fun and they grief the raid is way too high. And the people who play hardcore do this knowingly. They're there for the community and the fun aspect of it. But being bad at the game does make you an asshole. Now, hardcore's not the best example from that overall because the players expect new players to be bad.
Mhm.
But you look at this in retail or you look at this in classic. Like, I'll use my friend Hammer Dance as an example. If you've ever seen my boy Hammer raid a pug, I have seen him end his stream more times than I've seen him complete a pug in TBC or vanilla, because they're of that low quality. There are definitely good pugs out there, um,
Mhm.
but the pug will be going poorly. He'll start ranting about GDKPs and he'll end stream.
Yeah.
Because when people are bad and they don't do their kicks for simple mechanics, right?
Mhm.
You just grief the raid. And TBC is not hard experience. I was playing with 300 MS, outperforming a lot of people as a one button warlock. Not very hard as TBC. Like most classes have one or two buttons. Um, but the whole point was, you see this in the game overall, is that being bad makes everyone else around you perform worse, which makes you an asshole, which is fundamentally antithetical to the spirit of vanilla, where being dog shit should not matter. It's the vibes you bring and how much fun you help the people around you have. But fun
Yeah.
is now clearing content in a timely manner so people can raid log and get on with their life.
Yeah. That's like any team-based activity, right? You could take that out of take World of Warcraft out of the equation, and if you're the worst player on the sports team, or um, you're the worst performer at work, or all these things, is like you know being accountable for your performance, knowing that other people have to make up for it. you know, you should try a little harder or care a little more, or,
Yeah.
you know, have that self recognition of like, because I'm doing this, other people are doing that, right?
And
And so
people should
it
have that
spills
self
into games.
recognition, but they don't. Like,
No.
for example, I stepped down from my TBC guild recently, not because I was a bad player, but because of
Mhm.
like working a full-time job, dealing with life situations and stuff like that. I just didn't have time to really stay up to date with a semi-hardcore. And in this context, I genuinely do mean a semi-hardcore guild. Not like those guilds that say we're semi-hardcore and then everyone's dog shit. Um, I stepped down because I just didn't have the time to really play at that level. And I just honestly, with Classic Plus being less than 2 months out, I just couldn't be asked to keep raiding in TBC. Like, my character was, it's fine. I had a good time. I enjoyed it, but the economy is in shambles. There's bots everywhere. The economy is so fucking bad in Anniversary.
Oh yeah.
So, so just like, it was just better for me to just quit, refresh, take a breather, yap about Classic Plus, than to lose my
Mhm.
mind against the wall trying to grind gold for consumes in TBC.
Oh,
And call me a
100%.
casual, I don't give a shit. But at the end of the day, I think Classic is dead, not because it's a bad game, but because the community killed it. And the game we are playing is not Classic or vanilla. It's just the bastardization of the entire aspect of the classic World of Warcraft.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's hard to, yeah, put into words, but I know what you mean. It's we've changed the game as players. The game has, I mean, the game's had minor tweaks, obviously, but it's just not the same. Um, and hoping that something new kind of revitalizes that spirit of like wonder and discovery of not knowing, right? Having to figure out, having to create a new meta, or seeing how things get rebalanced, and just um, taking the mechanics of what you love and kind of erasing your current knowledge of how to operate within the thing.
Which honestly was a great segue into the next topic, which is Classic Plus and the leaks. Because the hype is right around the corner, and everyone is getting kind of tired of vanilla or TBC, and they want new. They want classic, but they want new. Better classes, better raid utilization, no world buffs, like a slew of changes. Everyone's list is different, but they want a slew of changes across the board. And I want to dive right into one of the major things, and that is the amount of leaks, right? So many
Mhm.
leaks. Like MMO Champion has about, I think, 2 to 3 daily leaks, because there's clearly been 700 family and friends alpha beta testers who have all been willing to leak something. The realistic thing is they're all fake leaks, right, for the most part. But
Mhm.
did any of the leaks catch your attention? Did any of the leaks sound true to you? Did you find any of the leaks enjoyable to a degree?
Yeah, I think, and this is kind of like maybe a boring answer. But I think the most intriguing one was just that timeline photo. It seemed like the most popular one, where it was like, you know, timeline for the future of World of Warcraft, kind of next few months, next few years, all the different, Project Camelot, the Arthas thing, StarCraft. Um, I found that to be because a lot of them they don't feel super credible,
Well,
right? Like
that one was not a leak. That one was actually real.
well, it was a leak of something real,
Oh yeah,
right?
so
Like,
but that's a good topic to cover as well. So we might as well cover that. But my question was more of the leaks about Classic Plus itself.
yeah. Oh, jeez. I don't know if I have any in particular because I don't know what's real and what's fake. And so I'm kind of tempering my expectations and I'm looking at them and I'm like, I don't want to get too excited about a leak and be like, oh, this is a feature that I can expect. So I'm kind of going in a little blind.
Gotcha.
Um, that's a tough one. How about
Okay,
you? Because I know you're in the weeds when it comes to these
yeah.
things.
So I like everyone like just memes about oh my god, Evan, he's faking knowing something, or he clearly knows something. It depends on who you
Yeah.
ask. Or he talks to the dev. They've clearly told him stuff. Eben was
Mhm.
talking about this 6 months before a leak even happened. How could he have known? Um, so a lot of people have a lot of different theories about what I do or don't know, and I'm neither going to confirm nor deny anything.
Mhm.
You can scour my old content to see read between the lines, but effectively,
Yeah.
a lot of the leaks are completely fake. Pretty much every single leak I've read has been fake. Some leaks have thrown things at the wall that are just realistic enough that no one can really judge them, right? Like I saw one leak that was like 8 sentences, and it was there's gonna be new zones, there's level banded phasing, there's 2 new races, one for each faction, and there's no new classes. There's some new class race, like human hunter stuff like that. Paladin is still alliance, and shaman is still horde, and the world map has changed. And I'm like, okay, so you just wrote the most generic fucking leak because like that's literally the baseline expectation. There was nothing special about that, right? And so a leak like
Mhm.
that is real because he didn't say anything that could be false.
Yeah. It falls under like a lot of the things that a conspiracy falls under, where it's like, I don't really have enough information to confirm this, but I also don't really have enough information to deny this. So it just exists now.
But like the thing that bothered me the most about the leaks was, and before I tell you about my favorite leak, the thing that
Mhm.
bothered me most about the leaks was the fact that they all played everything. Every leak I've read so far, aside from a few of them, have been so yeah, from level 1 to 20 it's this, from 20 to 40 it's this, from 40 to 60, and this is the heroics, and this is the raid, and this is all the class changes. And literally no tester in the history of testing has sat there and played 700 hours of testing without them knowing exactly who the fuck you are down to the littlest T. None of the people would ever leak anything.
Mhm.
So the people that have leaked stuff have only tested small things. And some of the things that have been put out there that are real, that I won't cover, um, they're very minuscule. But like every single leak is the fakest shit I've seen. It's just people
Yeah.
that are giving their wish list of everything they want. But in talking about my favorite leak, it's I can't share it actually. It's because I
You
have to
can
show it
share it.
on screen, then we have to do a whole segment where we have to actually like
Yeah, yeah,
showcase it all because like just reading it off memory. Um, I'll show it in the stream another day, but
yeah,
we can go back to the one that every single person knows, which is what you answered, which was a different answer to the question,
yeah.
but it's the better one of that timeline.
Mhm.
And that timeline is the most hyped thing because that timeline image was leaked a year ago, a full
Mhm.
year ago. It was leaked last August in 2025. And everybody called it fake because what happened was it was a girl at the media team. The boyfriend took a picture of the laptop, uploaded that online, and everybody was like, what LARP is this? Until it turned out that
Yeah.
1.60 was in fact Camelot. And how did that make you feel when it turned out that something leaked a year ago turned out to be real?
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing. Like you see all these things, and you never know what's real and what's fake. And like that looks like something someone could make, and then take a picture of their laptop and upload it and be like, "Look at this." This is the timeline. Um, so finding out there's like some reality to that, um, I think it just makes me one excited for the future of Classic Plus because that's what we're hyped about, but kind of being hyped up about the future of Blizzard and the Warcraft IP as a whole, because I feel like we've gotten very safe things, right? We've gotten iterations on Diablo, 1, 2, 3, 4. We've gotten your standard World of Warcraft expansions. We haven't heard much from StarCraft. Um, and then kind of like outside of that, seeing plans for a show, which I think a lot of people who have watched Warcraft cinematics for the longest time, and as of lately too, all these different kinds of cinematics, right? These animated style ones, seeing that they're talking about CRPG, it just makes you excited about the IP as a whole again, right? And not just excited about the one thing about the IP that you like, right? And I think that's what gets me really excited is this. World of Warcraft used to be like a cultural phenomenon.
Right.
There was the celebrity commercials on TV. They're talking about it on late night shows. Everyone was playing World of Warcraft, right? And that's not a thing anymore. It was like a household name. But if there's shows and movies and all these different things that build upon the IP, it just makes you excited to participate in that ecosystem again.
I mean, World
That's
of
why I'm
Warcraft is
excited.
still a household name. It's just not
For
household
sure.
to the way that, say, Fortnite is. I mean, no,
Yeah.
it is. Because I feel like you ask even a young kid, World of Warcraft, they're just gonna say, like the Lich King, the Boomer game, the Lich King game. Because
Yeah.
that's what everybody knows the most is Arthas, the Lich King. I think, like, out of
Mhm.
everything Warcraft, it would be the Lich King, Illidan, then just the Warcraft logo itself, right? Um,
Yeah.
but even little kids know Warcraft. But they know in the same way somebody's heard of Seinfeld or Friends.
Yeah.
They've never watched
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
but they've heard of it.
Yeah.
Um, and so, like, even my dad, who's a 50-year-old man who knows nothing about video games, could not
Mhm.
understand, doesn't game at all, and like falls for AI shit. He's like, "Is this real?" I'm like, "Dad, that's AI." He's like, "It looks so realistic, and it's the fakest AI you've seen."
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
these people have all hold of World of Warcraft, but like it
Mhm.
it doesn't really hold that household value anymore.
No. It's kind of like there's kind of like brands and things that transcend the thing that they are, right? Like I
Yes.
think of like Kleenex is a good example where it's like you don't call it a tissue paper, you call it a Kleenex, right?
True.
Kleenex is a brand, it's not the thing, right? World of Warcraft is like that to MMOs. Every MMO, you talk to a parent and every MMO is World of Warcraft.
True.
Talk to a parent and every shooting game is Fortnite, right? Every console is the Nintendo, right? I think World of Warcraft has cemented itself as being like the kind of the face of the genre in a sense, right? And it's always been the most popular um, version of the thing. Um, so yeah, and it's kind of fallen to the wayside a little bit where it's been quiet for a while. There hasn't been anything big, but I think if executed well, right? We know Blizzard can make an awesome CRPG. We know they can make awesome animations and cinematics. Let's kind of see where that goes with the new things that they're coming out with.
So let me ask you a
Um,
question. Do you think
yeah.
Classic Plus will actually have a cultural resurgence like 2019 did? Because 2019 WoW was like genuinely global. I think it was one of the few times there were over 10 million subs. Um, do you think Classic Plus will have that same level of effect? Because WoW's at 9 million subs right now, with the vast majority being retail. I would say 6 to 7 million.
Mhm.
So we'll be over 10 million subs again. But do you think it'll be big enough to push WoW to 15? Do you think it'll be big enough? Do you think C plus? Because Classic in 2019 came out during one of WoW's, for lack of a better word, worst parts of retail, BFA and
Mhm.
Shadowlands. So
Yeah.
it was carrying the numbers while they were terrible, and now that the retail is doing good, Classic is kind of on the decline. Do you think C
Mhm.
plus is actually going to have that cultural resurgence?
Yeah, I think it's tough. I think you have a mixture of like global events and then the actual game itself, right? I think Classic WoW had like the perfect storm of um, One, it was released at a bad time in the game, and it was released at a bad time in the world, which kind of made it more popular. Where I think of COVID, right?
Yeah.
Everyone was stuck inside, and you have this iconic thing come out, and it's kind of like this perfect marriage of two events, creating a very successful thing. Um, I think Classic Plus will have a similar effect. It doesn't have, obviously, like the everyone has to stay indoors and play video games thing going on in the world,
COVID 2.
but COVID too, yeah. But I think people are excited enough about video games and World of Warcraft and MMOs that it will be an important big thing, right? Within the community and outside of the community. Because you have huge streamers and huge people who love World of Warcraft who don't play it. You have people like Shroud and Tim the Tatman. Like you have these kind of like huge, biggest streamers, and you ask them, "Yo, what's the best game ever?" And they'll say World of Warcraft. You know, they might be known for something else, but everyone loves World of Warcraft, and to have an evolution of that, you're just gonna have this social effect of all these, and it's a domino effect, right? You have people like that playing, it becomes popular, more popular people play it. You know, I know controversial character, someone like Asmongold, right? Huge streamer, never plays games anymore. I could see him playing it, McConnell playing it.
Oh,
Kind
yeah,
of like
absolutely.
you have this like back to the good old days, at least for a little bit, right?
Hmm.
And I think that has a lot of power to it. Um, I think it'll be big. I think it'll be big, but I don't know about 2019 big, maybe bigger. I just think it is nice that 2019 had that global event that really helped boost, the player base.
That is
What do
true.
you think?
And this is my personal belief, it's going to be bigger, is because I feel like MMOs are making a resurgence. And my
Mhm.
reasoning is because since post 2020, the quality of life for a lot of people has gone down, not up.
Mhm.
Life has become harder, more unaffordable, more difficult. And a virtual world you can call home, you can have a community, friends, meet people, meet your new best friend, your lover, your future wife or husband. I
Mhm.
think Classic Plus has the opportunity to bring MMOs back to the forefront. Now, will it succeed is debatable, of course, right? That's the whole topic. 2019, perfect timing. Retail WoW was getting kind of sloppy and shitty. Got to go back to the basics with 2019. Got to enjoy something simple where the community mattered more, at least at the beginning. And I think C
Mhm.
Plus might do that. I'm not saying it will. I'm saying it might.
Yeah. Well, I
And
I think no, you bring up a good point where like things are harder. People want a form of escapism. And I think we are kind of at a point too where social media was very popular and it WoW was kind of like some of the original social media meeting people online. It was a novel experience, right? And I think social media has gone so far in one direction and like things like AI content has gone so far that people almost want to revert back to a social experience being simple and like World of Warcraft, right? Where it's like a lot of people aren't spending as much time on social media anymore because they're kind of sick of it. So to have an experience like that, I think is kind of novel again. It's we've gone full circle in a sense where um, people are getting sick of the modern version of social interaction, and something classic like that is it speaks to there's a lot of power in nostalgia too, right? So to pair that with kind of the social aspect of it, I think it has a lot of opportunity to be successful.
I, again, my belief, I'm not saying is factual. Like I get what you're saying. I truly do believe it, just somewhere in my heart, right here, that
Mhm.
I know it's reflected, guys. I know my heart's like, anyways. Um,
Yeah.
I stand by the fact that I think 29 Classic Plus is going to be a cultural resurgence
Mhm.
because I think people genuinely miss having a game to call home. I think it's a thing
Mhm.
of a lot of people hopping. If you remember, for a long, long time there, people would play one game. And that one game community has mostly died off. Roblox, Fortnite, Minecraft, which are now the most popular games in the world, are games you just jump, 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 new game mode, new game mode, new game mode. And I think MMOs in general went from being the top game to bottom of the barrel until they've slowly
Mhm.
started to climb up again. Not fast, but you see it with New World. You see it with every MMO that's come out. Everyone wants an MMO. There just hasn't been
Mhm.
one to call home. There's a huge
For
subset of
sure.
gamers in my age, your age, in the 40s, in the late 30s, in the early 30s, who just want a game that they can only play that game, and they don't have that.
Yeah. Well, I think he's a good example of that too is like old school RuneScape, right? Where I think Classic Plus has room to grow over time too, right? Like you see a lot of these, like every new game, you hit a spike of players and then it tapers off. But old school RuneScape is kind of done what every game or MMO wants to do, where it starts and it actually goes up in popularity, right? Because it's an experience that people are comfortable with and they like, and they've built upon it. And I think us as classic WoW enthusiasts are kind of hoping that that's the angle that happens with Classic Plus, right? Is this game that everyone's comfortable and happy with, and it grows over time because the excitement builds with the content that they're adding.
I mean, you can see this globally as well. Like, you can see this with the amount of classic games, the amount of remasters, the amount of just games in general that are just re-releases. Black Flag resynced, Halo campaign evolved, um, League Classic, old school
Mhm.
RuneScape's popularity, Classic 2019's popularity, Oblivion remastered, Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3 remastered that are coming out soon. Pretty much, people are looking towards the past more than they are to the future
Mhm.
because the new games and the new IPs just don't hit as much as old IPs and old brands and old things do. There just isn't as much substance to either the storytelling or the character or the investment. And I think part of that might
Mhm.
also be to the fact that when we were young and games came out, you would get a full trilogy in 10 years. Every 3 or 4 years,
Yep.
you would get a full game. Whereas now there's over a decade between each game release. Fallout 4 was 2015, Skyrim was 2011. Um, for example, Warcraft 3 was 2001 or 2000. Um, and so it's like you see the gaps between franchises and how these games come out. GTA 5 was 2011, right? 12? Something along
Yeah,
the
that
time
game's
frame.
old. It was like what,
3, 4, 5, and also
PS3? Oh
6
my God. Yeah,
realistically.
yeah.
Maybe not 6 anymore, um,
Mhm.
but it's like the amount of people that are looking back instead of to the future. I think people want that old school simplicity. They want to go back to a time where they felt better, where the games felt better, where the games felt better to play, where the games felt better to partake in, better to dive into. Or maybe I'm coping and I'm just reaching. But I think
Yeah.
that classic, where, for example, EverQuest Legends is another good example, or
Mm.
private servers, where they're taking old games, like these massive mods that have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of players, without official support. That clearly signifies something.
These games are ingrained in culture too, right? Like I think that's another thing is like a lot of these games came out at a time where there was less competition or it was a new experience, and they've really like solidified themselves in gaming and pop culture, right? Where a newer game, it's harder to kind of get itself into that, where it's a new IP, like you said, they don't have years and years of fans and things built upon that. So it's oh, oh,
I just want to say
say it,
one thing.
Evan. Say it, Evan. Say it.
I don't agree with that because back in the PS3 and the PS2 era and like the Xbox 360
Okay.
era, there were hundreds of shovelware games. There were so many
Mhm.
double A games and like indie games or single A. I'm not sure what the term for that was at the time.
Yeah,
On the shelves, you could go
for
to
sure.
EB Games or GameStop or whatever your country's version or just Game in the UK. You could go
Mhm.
there and there would be a shit ton of random ass games. Prototype. That was a double
Yeah,
A game. Games used to have budgets of 10, 15, 20 million. Games now have 100, $200 million budgets. I think the issue is I actually don't know why gaming has stalled so badly. I genuinely couldn't tell you. There's been a billion essays on YouTube saying why gaming is dead, why it's terrible. But I don't think
yeah.
anything hits the nail on the head as much as the simple fact that I think we just got way more choice back in the day.
Back in the day, you think we had more choice?
More passion and more choice. The games weren't all good. Shit ton of
No,
terrible games. You guys remember Piranha Byte?
no.
They made terrible games. The Risen RPG series.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah,
they used to make just
yeah. I
these
know.
janky or Eurojank games.
Yeah,
Witcher
yeah.
1 and Witcher 2 were Eurojank. They were dog shit.
Mhm.
Phenomenal games storytelling wise, but terrible gameplay.
Yeah,
Witcher 3 is
yeah.
phenomenal. Like,
I
but
think it,
Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk would have never survived in the modern day and age if Witcher 1 and 2 had to come out in like the last 5, 10 years.
yeah. Well,
Companies that survived back then now dominate.
I think too, games, gaming is more expensive as a hobby now
Yes.
with console, computer, everything prices, gaming prices. It was a lot easier to get into gaming back then, in terms of like you buy a console or you buy a game
Yeah,
and
true.
that's it, or you have a computer, a family computer, and everything runs on it. Um, so it's hard. It's hard now. I'm sure there's a few different elements. It's also just like a competition for your time, right? You have more things competing for your attention, whether that's YouTube, TikTok, gaming, movies, books, anything, right? Um, I think you see that in the modern age a lot. Is just an excess of everything fighting for your attention, right? It's like going on Netflix and you can't find a movie, even though there's 1,000 movies because
I
there's just
can't
so
even do
many.
it. If I don't know what, if I don't
No.
have a movie or show in mind, I don't even open the apps. I just read a book.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, exactly. There you go. And you know what? Sorry to backtrack a little bit. I do have a favorite leak. I was thinking about it. The leak that Death Knights are going to be in Classic, because I think that's a really interesting
I
concept.
don't think that's gonna happen.
No, I think it's an interesting idea, and I love the idea of a paladin becoming corrupt and joining the Horde.
Oh, you mean the OG
But
Death Knight? Oh, that'd be sick. I think that'd be an amazing
no,
thing to do.
yeah,
I honestly, I'd
yeah,
be cool with that. I would be 100%
yeah,
be cool with the OG Death Knight and the Rune Master being added to the game, where the dwarves unlock Rune Master via like a long quest line, um, and the we unlock Death Knights via like paladins via the Death Knight quest line. I think that would be incredibly cool to have back and forth.
yeah,
But I think at least it won't be at launch. I don't think, but I think that would be
no,
absolutely sick.
yeah. Not to derail the current comment.
No, it's
I
all
was
good.
stewing on that. And I was like, yeah, yeah,
I do like it though. I do like it. For
yeah.
me, it was
But you do.
ogres. There was a leak with ogres. I hope that's true. If that's true, I'm
Oh
more
yeah,
happy.
I
I
know.
love ogres so much.
EverQuest does some ogres and trolls pretty well,
Ogres
and
are
that's the
great.
thing. Like, back to course correct. Back to the topic. Yeah, you see, yeah, this resurgence in good old, you know, games that you used to play, coming back, right? Um, and yeah, I don't know if it's the ethos of like how people felt when they made those games, the conditions of the world when those games were made, um, or just the mentality of like how a game is to be made back then, right? But um, you do see that idea more and more, um, with yeah things like private servers, Classic Plus private servers popping off, games like EverQuest Legends where it's like EverQuest Classic Plus, yeah, the Oblivion game resell like selling more copies than most games at the time.
I think it was
um,
7 or 8 million copies in its first year, which
yeah,
is absurd.
insane, right? um, and you tap into an audience of people who didn't get to play the game but know that it's like kind of this big
Mm.
thing, now having the opportunity to go back and play it, right? Like I never played EverQuest back in the day in the 90s, but now I get a chance to kind of relive what it would have been like at launch, right? And so I'm now a player of it, right? So you get this new audience of people, diving into it, which
So actually, I do have a question on that front. What is it about classic games that you think people prefer over modern games? Like we'll use MMOs as the topic point here, right? Why do people prefer classic games but want modern features but don't want to play modern games instead?
yeah. Well, I think one part of it is like a monetization thing. Like I think people just want to buy a thing. It's like the subscription model for everything. Like you can't just buy a software outright. You can't just buy Photoshop. You have to
Yeah, yeah.
subscribe, right? I think people just they want to feel like their time and money are being valued or respected by a product and a company. And a lot of these classic experiences do that. They you know they go back to, a pretty simple way of doing things. You buy a thing, you pay for the thing, and you get to enjoy the thing. So there's that aspect of it. Um, I think people are a lot more intentional with how they want to spend their time. Um, and I think a lot of modern games are kind of like zipping you through content. Um, you get a battle pass and you got to unlock all these tiers to get the content. But I think people just want I want to buy a thing and I want to enjoy the thing. I don't want to have to worry about all this extra stuff that goes into it. Um, I think we've been beaten down as gamers for a while, and quick, fast experiences that I think people want a longer term, more meaningful experience out of their game. Um, and a lot of the classic experiences provide that. What do you think?
I agree with you. I think one of the reasons that it's so popular is the simplicity, the feeling like your time is valued, or at least that it used to be valued, right? I think people just want to not have to overthink the game. I think that's what people like about classic or simple games is pretty much everything used to work. There was
Mhm.
no best, or I mean, there always was, right? But it's like for the most part, you could play how you wanted, and the game still worked, and it was smooth and it was fun. And I think for me personally, what I love the most about classic when I first played in 2019 versus retail was when I was playing in BFA. It felt like the community aspect of the game was dead, right? You had to join a guild, you had to raid or do Mythic Plus or play at a higher level to truly get community, or you had to role play, right? Those were your three options. I'm sure there were other avenues of making friends, right? But I feel like for the majority of people, it was heroic or mythic raiding, Mythic Plus, and like role playing. When I jumped into Classic, just by virtue of playing in 2019, I made friends that I played through until I had to quit during early AQ for IRL reasons. And that experience overall was what made me fall in love with the game from the leveling perspective. Like I leveled three characters in the first 6 months of 2019, um, and I don't like leveling. But every time I leveled, I was making friends. The world was active. The world was alive. The people I met, like the community. By TBC, by very early TBC, I would say before SSC and TTK, it was dead. By Wrath, I was gone. It became
Yeah.
like retail. We played the game the same way retail was played, and I feel like I do like some modern conveniences like UI, better client, stuff like that. And to a degree, I gotta be upfront. I'm not a big fan of the WoW token or buying gold in games or buying resources. But I feel like at a certain point, the devs either have to just make consumes a non-factor for rating, or add the WoW token into the game, or actually ban buyers because they're clearly not addressing the botting issue in the game, the amount of gold selling happening. And they gotta pick one of the three options. Sod chose to just make consumes irrelevant. Literally, you could farm it out in 15 minutes. Gold didn't matter. It was easy peasy. Run a couple dungeons, get your chest, get your consumes. World boss were just boons. You just pop them in raid over and over again. It was easy. It in TBC, it was ass. Everyone's swiping. Everyone's gonna say, I never bought gold, and it couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. And then immediately, as soon as Phase 2 launched, everyone had Boots of Blasting and Belt of Blasting. They had all the
Yeah.
consumes and gold, 18,000 gold. Just suddenly, every single warlock and mage just farmed 18,000 gold very easily. It's not suspicious at all. Um,
Yeah.
so again, the whole point is the devs need to do something. I'm not sure what option they're gonna pick here, right? WoW tokens the cheapest, shittiest option. Is throw
For
that into
sure.
the game. Well, you know what? Everyone's buying gold. Buy it directly from us. The
Hmm.
the most shitty option, but probably the one that's gonna make them the most money because pretty much everyone's gonna say I'll spit on the game, and they're gonna go and put their credit card info in and buy a WoW token to buy their
Yeah.
consumes. I hope it's banning buyers, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
No. No, I think it's going to fall within, like, they've already implemented it in the different versions of the game. They know it's successful in some capacity. They know it makes money. It kind of fixes an issue, right? You know, you can you can say, oh, buying gold off a gold farm where you actually get more gold for your dollar, but like most people don't care about that,
The
right?
vast majority is going to buy
Um,
directly in the in-game store. But I did get a bit off
exactly.
topic and ranty about the WoW token. My whole point was I do think some
Yeah,
modern conveniences are good. Not that one, but
100%.
it is something that's probably going to come. Probably not at launch, but it
Yeah,
will.
it's like you like a group finder, but you don't want to be teleported to the dungeon,
Exactly. I want to be able to
right?
list my thing and have everybody like queue up on it, and then be able to select people. I think that was really fun and useful. Um,
Mm,
like to a degree, I honestly wouldn't even be mad if after the first 2 years or 3 years, like okay, I'm not saying they should add this to the game, but I wouldn't even be mad if they made a leveling LFG tool that just automatically queued you guys up. Like
mhm,
maybe up until like level 45, up until level 30. It stopped working after a certain amount of levels, right?
mhm. Well, you got to think about future players, right? And catch up mechanics because
That's
that's
kind
when
of
it
the reason.
becomes,
It's
yeah.
these games, the life cycle, it gets harder and harder for new players to catch up.
Hmm. Well, that's the thing. You don't want to be the guy that gets his friend into it and then your friend is just having a terrible time because you're out doing high level content and they're just slogging it out and they can't do anything about it. Right? So it is a
Like
balancing act.
I think the issue is modern conveniences have to be designed to work for classic experiences instead of just being slapped on, which I think is the
Yeah,
hard part. And
for
certain
sure.
games do that well, right? Not every game, but certain games do that well.
Mhm.
Like for
Yeah,
example, you've played retail before, right? Even
of course.
recently. Did you play Midnight WoW?
Yeah, it was it's the only expansion that I haven't gotten to max level in yet.
But is there any like things from retail you would like in Classic Plus, for example?
Oh, geez. Um, I'll be completely honest with you. I wouldn't mind, and this ties into like modern thing tweaked for a classic experience. I wouldn't mind like a personalized transmog where you can turn it on and you can see it for yourself, but other people can't see it in the world, or they can turn transmog on and off. That and like an updated housing and crafting system. I think the crafting system is a
Hmm.
little wild in retail, but I think experiences like that can be tweaked for classic, like new professions. Hot take, archaeology.
Hmm.
That has a lot of room to do very cool things. It seems it's sad that that was such a fumble because that could have been amazing
It could have
for
been
like lore
amazing.
dumps and but yeah, I would say definitely like professions, a toggleable transmog system, and I think housing's kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. Over monetized, but it's kind of cool.
No, that's fair. That's fair. For
How many?
me, it's the edit mode. The I know a lot of error players really complain about edit mode, but I
Mhm,
gotta be upfront. Sure, don't add it to error. Like let them keep the vanilla UI.
mhm.
But Classic Plus needs the retail edit mode and UI. It's genuinely fucking phenomenal. Um, and the add-on changes I do think are pretty decent so far in retail, and I
Mhm.
think Classic Plus could benefit from that because not having to install AlvUI but have
Yeah.
AlvUI built into the game was an amazing experience. Being able to tweak and shift and do everything I need to my UI that I used to need AlvUI for, but just to do it built into the game was phenomenal. And so on virtue of that, I think the edit mode and the retail UI itself would be really good for
Mhm.
C plus and achievements.
Yeah, it's like these optional things, right? Where you don't have to use it. It's not going to tarnish your gameplay experience, but it is going to make someone else's gameplay experience more enjoyable, right?
Exactly.
Like a yeah, it's just great. Now I don't have to download Bartender. I can just move stuff around on my own.
But now it's time for the final topic, the juiciest one so far. And that is the classic plus Doombaiting. And there's a lot of people that are doing this, saying dead on arrival, retail slop, garbage game, you guys are all gonna quit, just play Ascension. You've heard them all. Just genuinely
I
hateful
have.
rhetoric in regards to a game that's not even announced or out yet.
Mhm.
In your opinion, with the classic plus Doombaiting,
Yeah.
where do you stand on that?
Um, I think there's like, you know, there's valid criticism, and then there's like a conversation of like One, I think there's a certain crowd that is hypocritical when it comes to the complaints. It's like people who like say love Turtle WoW, for example. And Turtle WoW was cool, but they hate anything Blizzard could never. They would never do this. But then you see like there's a cash shop where you can buy bags and you can buy convenience things and all these. So it's like things that you would hate and complain about Blizzard doing. You're totally cool if this other group of people does it because they're not Blizzard and they're a small, private server. You don't mind giving them money for those kinds of things. But when the big bad Blizzard does it, oh, unplayable, terrible company, terrible experience. So I think there's like a certain group that is like a little hypocritical when it comes to the doom baiting. Um, and I feel like a lot of that it comes from players who aren't gonna play the game, right? So it's like the thing isn't even for them. Everyone's got an opinion about everything, but I think at the end of the day, you look at like the majority, and it's like, yeah, SOD wasn't perfect, but a lot of people are enjoying it. And look at how many people went back to enjoy it because they're like, actually, you know what? It wasn't that bad. I'm excited for like what Blizzard can produce. Let's play it, right? So I think, and that's just also like a cultural thing too. Like bad news gets more clicks than good news. Everyone likes to read a little bit of hate online, right? Um, so I think it's easy to judge a product that hasn't even come out yet. But I think we've seen enough things that prove one, they care. The people creating the game, it's not like they hate World of Warcraft or its players. They clearly love the game. They're passionate about it. They're players themselves, and they want to make a good experience. And at least, and there's some self-recognition too, right? It's like they can recognize that if they made a feature that was bad, they're like, yeah, I shouldn't have done that. Nightmare Incursions, yeah, maybe a bad idea, right? Um, so I don't know. There's like speculation, and then there's kind of like more factual things. And it's easy to speculate on something with a negative opinion and go in and dislike it. It's like if you decided that you don't like something, you're going to look for more reasons to not like it, right? So if all these people have decided they don't like Blizzard, they don't think they're capable, all they're going to do is look for reasons that reaffirm that opinion. While, you could be a little more optimistic and just take it for what it is, um, and try to enjoy it for what it is. So I'm a maybe the opposite of a doom poster. I'm a positivity poster.
I honestly, I haven't made a lot of negative videos lately because I've come into this. Maybe it's because of like where I'm at with my life right now. I don't have energy to be negative or hateful. I'll be critical.
Mhm.
I'm critical on
For
my
sure.
stream quite often, especially about the state of TBC or Mr. Pandaria, or the lack of announcements about the future of MOP, or like giving us proper timelines for TBC and just dropping it randomly out the blue, or saying we have accelerated post-nerf content and then not having accelerated patch cadences. Like small things that are just complete bullshit that Blizzard should honestly address and give a statement about. But at the same
Mhm.
time, like I don't give a shit about MOP or TBC, and I'm excited for Classic Plus. But it doesn't give them like a just like a hand wave to just be like, yeah, don't worry about it. Then it's okay to
Yeah.
be critical. But I think a lot of people mistake criticism with aggression and hatred. And you don't have
Mhm.
to hate Blizzard to be critical. Like, I still talk to the devs. I still like the content they put out. I don't like retail. I think the storytelling in retail is absolute dog water.
Mhm.
But I can enjoy retail's gameplay for retail's gameplay. It's fun to pull a million mobs, do some dumbass shit, and just log out and have your fun. Treat it like a RPG or a single player
Yeah.
game, which it is for most of the part if you're not raiding or Mythic Plus. Um, but like, it's not the game I enjoy. And I think a lot of people take everything Blizzard does personally if it's not for their game. It's
Yeah.
like, how their retail be good when my game is dog shit? How their retail get this, or how their Overwatch get this when this game is terrible? Um, and I feel like people need to stop taking things so personally to their heart, into their soul, which I don't think they're
Mhm.
going to do. Like being
No.
very mindful, I don't think that's going to happen. I think players have just fried their minds, and they, like you said, if they've already decided to be negative, they're going to be negative. But I feel like a huge portion of them are going to change their mind when they do play Classic Plus, if they play Classic Plus. No, when. Not if,
Yeah.
when they play Classic Plus. because they're
That's
all
the
going to
thing.
play it regardless. Every single hater is going to play Classic Plus. All the
Of
people
course.
saying the private servers are 100 times better, they're a million times better, they're a trillion times better, Ascension is the best thing since sliced bread. And it looks cool. I'm not going to deny it. Yeah, Ascension looks sick. 21 brand new classes with some incredible abilities. Full on retail combat based in Classic's gameplay. That's actually a really cool twist. It's like
Mhm.
Classic Remix or Vanilla Remix for retail. That's what I would call it. A really fun way to play the game. Some sick classes like the Nerubian transformation or the Spider or the Worgen. Like there's some really cool shit there. But saying that's amazing when that's literally just vanilla remix for retail,
Yeah.
it's hypocritical. Or loving everything T-WoW did.
Mhm.
To be fair, they even started hating on T-WoW towards the end there. They started doing class balance changes that were different than vanilla, and they started shitting on T-WoW as well. I'm not sure if you remember that. They got very very mad on the forums saying you guys are straying, you're starting to become like Blizzard, this that, because they tried to do more because they were releasing new raid tiers, so they
Mhm.
were doing more and more class balancing, and it got a little too far for the vanilla Andes. Look, I'll say it right
Yeah.
now. It might give me a lot of hatred. It might give me a lot of anger and vitriol. But I think vanilla Andes should stay in. Well, not vanilla, because you guys aren't vanilla players. I think classic Andes should stay in classic and era. I
Mhm.
think a classic Andy's opinion on C plus is worthless, and it should not be considered.
Yeah. I think a lot of the time too, it's just like just some awareness, some self-awareness of realizing that maybe something isn't for you. Instead of getting mad and trying to change the thing or wanting the thing to be made for you, just realizing that maybe the thing isn't for you and that's okay. And you can do something else. You've clearly found the thing that you enjoy, so just enjoy it. If Ascension's your thing or whatever's your thing, sick. That's awesome. But it doesn't mean you have to shit on everyone who wants to enjoy the other thing. Not everything is for everybody, and that's okay. Really.
Absolutely. Not everything is for everybody. I forget who said it, but a game made for everybody is a game made for nobody. And a game made for specifically classic Andes is a game that's going to have 15,000 average players.
True. Yeah.
I added that last part myself. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
because like
I'm one of them.
anniversary, like a lot of people saying anniversary is peak, it's amazing. TBC is gonna be dead, and TBC had triple the player base of anniversary. A lot of people
Yeah.
literally were just waiting for TBC to come out so they could play TBC instead of anniversary. Anniversary was a waiting room for TBC. I think at this point in time, the era crowd are a very vocal but small minority of players, and I think
100%.
Sod for all its mistakes was the best version of Classic since 2019.
Agreed.
And I
Completely.
hope Classic Plus is the best version of WoW since Vanilla.
Period. Yeah. I think I'm just coped out of my mind, but I like to think it will be.
I believe it's going to. I don't believe. I know it's going to be. Which
In your heart.
brings us to the final topic. Do
Okay.
you think Classic Plus will be good? Not hope or believe. Do you
Yeah.
think it'll be good based on what you know
I
about
think
Blizzard?
Um, yes. Yeah. No, I think I for sure. Like I think there was enough good about SOD and enough lessons learned from SOD, and that's kind of like our closest touch point to what Classic Plus is going to be. That I think it will be right. You have all these people coming back to SOD, doing SOD fresh. I think people, whether they want to admit it or not, know that it's going to be good. They produce quality games. You might not like certain aspects of the company, but I think we've seen enough in what they're capable of between new raids, dungeons, gear, itemization that, I think it's pretty safe to assume these guys know how to make some games, right? And that it's going to be good. Um, I'm not a Blizzard chill by any stretch of the imagination. I know they make mistakes, but I'm also, thinking about it pretty logically, right? They're a company that wants to make money and make a good game because a good game will make money. So they're going to listen to people and do the thing, right? So,
They want to make money. They want to make
Exactly.
those fat dollars, and to make those fat
Yeah,
dollars and sell WoW tokens, Classic Plus has to be good.
exactly. How
I don't
about what
want
do you
WoW
think?
tokens. I don't think it's gonna be in a launch, but
Mhm.
I think within 3 years we probably will have WoW tokens in C plus. It's a
I believe it.
sad expectation of mine, but if we're opening up with
Mhm.
an epic and heroic pack, which I think will come with 3 days early access,
Yeah.
I do think we are getting. Because what else can they sell? Like retail WoW, you get mounts, some transmog, housing items, and a level boost. We're clearly not getting a level boost at launch.
Mhm.
So for an epic and heroic edition, for 60 and $90, mount, a pet,
Title?
and probably not a title.
I would think there'd
I
be
actually don't know
titles.
what they would
Oh yeah.
sell.
Okay,
Maybe
of
battle
course.
pass is a part of Classic Plus. I know they
Hmm.
were doing monetization testing for sure. So maybe
Yeah.
it's battle passes and you get like a free battle pass tier, and the battle pass gives you like the free tier which every person gets in the game regardless, right? Is like you get consumes. So you play 7 hours a week and you unlock a consume chest that gives you a couple of health pots, a couple of whatever consumes for your class or spec,
Mhm.
and then you get a free battle pass tier, and then you have like your tracks or whatever, and then the paid tier is cosmetic. Reach level 40 on the paid tier, which is like $20 every 3 months. So every month, I'm not sure how often they do it, and you get a mount, a fury color, like some bullshit scorpion, or you get what I'm saying. Just
Yeah, yeah. A Hearthstone skin,
yeah,
something
something
like
like
that.
that. Would you be averse to a battle pass that gives no power? Everyone gets access to the exact same, so all the consumes and stuff that come from the game, everybody gets by default. The paid version is
Mhm.
just cosmetics.
Yeah. So I'm not crazy about like daily login rewards. Um, a battle pass, it depends how they do it. I think if you formed it
What about like
almost
retail's traveler's log?
like a bounty board, where it's like if you kill Kel'Thuzad and you kill Ragnaros this week, you get X, and then next week it's you know like a bounty board or something like
Yeah.
that, something objective based where it kind of like forces you to actually do content and it's not just kind of like just play the game to get it. I think if it's objective based like that, it kind of serves two purposes where you're rewarding someone for doing content and, um, you know, you're getting people to go out and find groups and kind of participate in the ecosystem.
So that's what retail does with the travelers thing, where you get those
Hmm.
tokens, and there's an in-game store, and the in-game store is you can't buy them. You get like an extra 1,000 if you buy the Epic edition of the expansion, right? And you just get
Hmm.
500 a month for being subscribed, and then you get 500 per month for playing the game. You get like an extra 100 for each tier, and then you get a free
Okay.
mount for when you finish the in-game monthly tier, and you get it for
Hmm.
like running dungeons, doing raids, collecting stuff, doing professions, whatever. Everything gives points towards it.
Yeah.
And then with those points, every month there's an in-game shop which you can purchase cosmetics from. Just cosmetics,
Mm.
mounts, pets, toys, transmog. So you'd be okay with something like that,
Yeah, I can dig that. Hot take, but yeah, I can dig that.
dude. With this video, 700 dislikes right now. I'm calling it.
Yeah.
But we are effectively over, my brother. Is there anything you wanted to mention before we close out this beautiful show?
BlizzCon's on the horizon. I think we need to prepare ourselves, temper our expectations, be excited, support your favorite creators, stay safe out there. I don't know. That seems pretty.
It's a very beautiful message. My message is going to be hyped out of your mind. I'm going to be on stage with Chris Metzen and Agrin announcing Classic Plus. You'll see me there on stage at BlizzCon, guys. Thank you
Incredible.
all for watching. This is the GOAT, Aronomia, absolute amazing content creator, and my lovely co-host. And I will see you
Incredible.
guys on the next episode where we're going to bring on a special guest. Thank you guys. Eben out. Peace.